months ago, I was tasked with fixing this super crazy overgrown Monstera siltepecana. I gave it a really heavy chop back, and in today's video we're looking at if and how the plant is recovering. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I suppose the intro said it all, but to make sure we're all on the same page, let me give you a quick throwback to what happened 2 months ago. This is the most overgrown moss pole I have ever seen, and in today's video we're gonna try and tackle this mess. It's actually the bottom part of my current siltepecana, and I'll insert a video of what mine looked like. I'm growing mine outdoors in quite a lot of sun, and it actually has reached decent maturity with really nice fenestrations as well. This is the bottom part, and I gave that to Tim's parents. And I don't remember how long ago, maybe like two-ish years ago. And I suppose they have done a really good job at looking after the plant. The plant is thriving, growing like there's no tomorrow. However, it has way outgrown the pole. Like 90% of the plant is not actually making contact with the pole. The pole is super front heavy and about to fall. And yeah, overall it's just gotten a bit too heavy for itself, not really looking good anymore. I think for now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to untangle some of these plants first. And of course, as a result of that, I'll rip a lot of leaves as well. That's okay. I was actually planning on kind of like, you know, laying them all out and then seeing if I can somehow spin them around the moss pole in hindsight, but how? Like, this could take me 3 days. So I'm actually going with a little bit more of a cutthroat approach, and I'll just cut all of this. I think so, right? Brad, what do you think? Alright, well, we're gonna untangle this mess later. Let's park this on the side. Oh well, it's a little skinnier now, isn't it? Oh my god. Now, of course, the parts of the plant that are actually attached to the pole are so old by now, they don't really have new leaves anymore, right? It looks very intense, huh? Okay, so see, we also have these sort of bits sticking out a little bit. I will just cable tie them to the pole. This next part is going to be a little more challenging, so I'm getting comfortable on the floor that's filled with airwood mix. Can't really see anything beautiful on this part. So you can definitely let your plants kind of outgrow the moss pole a little bit, but if you're pushing it too far, then, you know, I think you might have to do like a fundamental reset and then go through a period of time where your plant looks pretty shit. Like this. I'm looking forward to catching up with them in a couple of months' time to see whether this was a success or not, because ultimately it is something I don't often do. So I suppose we'll find out, right? At least we're going into summer, so the conditions will be good for this plant to recover, but ultimately time will tell. And here we are. I think overall it's looking good, but let's have a closer look, and maybe let's start off with the pole. Keep in mind, the pole is really the part that we want to continuously grow, right? I mean, these are all just propagations, and they're just in case we want to add some back into the pot, but really we want to continue growing the pole because it gives us that nice vertical display. I mean, overall you can definitely see it's so much lusher again compared to the really bare look when I first cut it back. Let's have a good look. Now, there's definitely one side that looks more empty, one side that's a little fuller. That is because I actually had it growing in my garden. I put it just in my garden against the fence, so the fence was on this side, so obviously this side didn't receive any light. Only the side that received light has actually reshot. Not a bad thing, just means that my friends can later on start rotating it and fill up all the sides eventually, right? But let's focus on this side then. I honestly can't count how many shoots there are, but I mean, just knowing how little leaves this plant had left before I put it out there, pretty much every leaf you see over here is new. I mean, you can really see the old ones. They're very different in color compared to these new ones. But like there's a shoot here, there's a shoot here, there's a shoot here, 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 here. Here. There's one here. There's only a couple of shoots that actually have started growing substantially, like this one and this one over here. Even reshooting from all the way down here again, you can see that. But I have also noticed that some stems gotten yellow. Those two over here as well. So I want to take them out because they're rotten. And I don't want the rot to spread. So all I do is I really take the rotten part and I'll just peel it off. And so I took a little bit more than just the rotten part so that hopefully it won't spread. And that's okay. So basically there might be some vines on here that are now not connected to the pot. At least they're not connected to the pot via the vine, but they might actually be connected to the pot via the root system throughout the moss pole. While I'm here, I'm also going to chop off bits like this. If they're just dangling around, they have not attached to the pole, they have also not re-shot in the last 2 months, then I think they're not really going to eventuate. And honestly, we don't have a shortage of shoots, right? Like that's not an issue. We've almost had too many shoots last time. So let's not make the same mistake again. Here we go. Honestly, I didn't actually expect it to reshoot in that many spots, but what that shows is just that it actually had a healthy root system. Also, it had an easy time recovering because those were the 2 best months of the year so far, right? We've had really good weather. The plant was outside. It was actually in quite a shaded corner on my wall of aero. It's shaded by a lot of other plants, so it wasn't actually receiving that much light, but I don't think it really needs it. So yeah, I think I'm in a position to give that back to them, and my advice going forward is just that, you know, for now, while we have these shoots, that is perfectly fine. But I think we're going to ask Tim Parents to just occasionally just give it a trim, or maybe I'll ask Tim, right? So when he goes and visits to, you know, once they start seeing it becoming really overgrown again, to just start taking cuttings themselves, and then, you know, like if you always take a cutting here and there, propagate it in water and so on, then the plant is never going to have to go through this fundamental reset like I just did, where we then end up looking at an empty pole for a couple of months. But I think overall definitely a success, and also just shows how quickly it can be to regrow a plant if the plant already has an established root system, right? So this plant obviously had plenty of roots within the pole as well as the pot, so once we took all of the growth off, it was able to redirect the growth hormones really quickly and start growing leaves and already vining, you know. So I'm happy with that, and we'll bring it back to Tim's parents. Now let's have a look at all of the propagations that I took. Alrighty, here we are. They definitely look way worse than when I initially popped all of these cuttings in here. So I'm sure plenty of leaves were aborted, but I can also see new growth. Let me bring you a bit closer. I mean, you can probably see all of these teeny tiny leaves at the top over here. So many, like, really, look at this little offshoot over here, like so small, but there's offshoots. There are some roots in here. I hope you can see this. It's obviously always glary. And there's quite a few rotten stems in here as well, so I definitely want to get in there and then pot some up. I wouldn't necessarily say it's really impressive root growth, but it's root growth, better than nothing. So let me take them all out of here, and then we'll start separating them out. You know what, I actually probably can't really separate them. I'm probably going to keep it like that and pot it up. But I'm going to take all of these yellow stems and cut them off. I don't want the yellow stems because they're already rotten and they can just spread. So let me quickly do that and concentrate for a hot minute. Why am I just throwing it on the floor? Seriously, I act like I'm working outside when I'm in the middle of my living room. That's alright. I actually have a few repottings to do today, so I think aiming for a clean living room today is unrealistic. So I will just have to do some deep cleaning later on. But it doesn't smell at all, so I don't think it's like super too late, you know. But I just want to cut them all off before it gets too late. Definitely not that many roots considering the amount of stems, but YOLO. Now, to be honest, I know exactly why that is. Tim sent me a photo of the position of this plant. I gave the propagations back to Tim's parents so that they have something to look at while I'm recovering their pole at home. It was in a pretty dark corner. Also, it's currently summer over here and really, really hot. It's quite common for people to have blinds closed to keep the harsh sunlight out so that the house isn't heating up to 8,000 degrees. I hate blinds. In this one I can't remove the blinds, but in my old apartment, the latest one, the first thing I did was take off all the blinds so that nobody can ever close them. Not that anybody apart from me lives there, but yeah, I really hate blinds. I want light as much as possible, and if that means that my house is hot, then so be it. The plants enjoy that too, actually. But obviously I understand that anybody who's not quite as crazy and obsessed about plants, their own well-being might take priority over the plants or the propagation success. So I'm not surprised that this hasn't rooted really well because it was exposed to very little light. But again, this one is really our main focus. This one is just a little extra. Alrighty, let's have a look if I can chop off anything else here, like this vine, for example, one that has just nothing on it. We do not need to keep that. It just makes it look a little bit ugly. And you know, I don't want the plant to reshoot from here. I want the plant to reshoot from the pot so that the growth is as lush as possible rather than just super leggy from the get-go. If I have something like this with a vine and then, you know, see the offshoot at the end here, I will just try and twist that around in the pot so that the new offshoot still makes contact with the substrate in the pot now. But if I have something like this over here, the offshoot is here, so I'll just chop the lengthy bit off. Now the goal here is I don't really want this to trail much for now. I want this to be really, really bushy at the top of the pot over here. Let me show you an example in a sec. So I think I'm done with chopping things off. Now I'm just twisting all of the rinds around in the pot, just in an attempt to make as many nodes as possible. Make contact with the substrate, because you saw earlier we don't have the best root system yet. So the more nodes that can make contact with the substrate, the more of them can root into the substrate and then reshoot and trail down. I'm not worried about this ever looking empty, right? We know that we have lots and lots of shoots in here technically, and we have lots and lots of nodes, and technically every node can create another shoot. So for now it's looking chaos, really, really messy, right? But what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to switch them around. I'm going to keep this one, I'm going to pop this one in the garden and watch its recovery while I give this one back to Tim's parents. So at all times they have one nice plant until hopefully they're both nice. This is everything I chopped off, so plenty. This is the example I wanted to show you. This is a Scindapsus. Now it is getting a little bit bare at the top, but can you see how many times I twisted this vine around in the pot? That way I still have volume at the top, right? Like this, for example, I'll just take it and I'll just kind of put it back in here. So I still have volume at the top, but it's also eventually trailing down. Can you see this? Yeah, so I don't like having a really bare bottom part and then everything is just trailing down and you have all of the growth down there. I want the top to be really lush as well. That way I can also avoid very frequent repotting because or work, let's say, because I don't like when it's really bare at the top and you have all of the growth at the bottom, because then what you usually do is you start chopping off some of the bottom parts, you propagate them, you pot them back into the pot, and so on, right? That to me is more work than just taking it and twisting around and letting it root by itself without actually having to chop it, right? And less chopping, less risk of something going wrong. So I'm kind of hoping that this can be a display that, similar to what we've done with the pole over here, where we just take the plant and we keep twisting it around the pole, we're taking these and we keep twisting it around the pot. But of course that also means we every now and then might have to chop things off, but I want it to be lush, bushy. That is it for today. I'm going to water this in. This one is still sufficiently moist, and I will bring this back to Tim's parents. I will keep this, and maybe we're going to do an update in another couple of months' time or so. But yeah, my learnings from the initial video have definitely been confirmed. Once you let it go so far that you have to do a really fundamental setback, it will definitely have a period, there will definitely be a period of time where your plant is recovering and re-establishing and isn't going to look so good. Now, I think we were quite lucky that that period was only about 2 months, because I did the chop going into the best part of the year. But if I would have done the same thing going into autumn or winter, could have easily taken half a year or even longer for the plant to recover, and or the plant could have never recovered potentially. So I think it's definitely important to keep on top of these moss poles at all times, rather than just neglecting them for many years and then doing a fundamental reset. I mean, it depends on what you want. If you want a nice display consistently, then you need to consistently stay on top of it. If you just want to do as little as possible, and you don't mind having a period where you give your plant a little setback, then go ahead and neglect them. That's okay. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and leave a nice comment, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.